Good morning friends, welcome back to my channel New Horizon with Einstein, where you can learn anything. So today is 26th of July 2017 and we are going to discuss about the major news analysis of daily PIB analysis, especially for UPSC, SSC, Bank PO, all state PSC as well as all government exams for 2017 as well as 18, presented by Vishwesh Kumar Yadav. I am from B Electrical and Electronics background. So let us discuss about the first news. Vice President condoles the passing away of Professor Yashpal. So, Vice President of India Sri Muhammad Hamid Ansari has condoles the passing away of eminent scientist Professor Yashpal. Yashpal played an important role in the development of science and technology and the spread of rational thought and scientific temper in our country. So, let us discuss about the next news. Prime Minister to inaugurate Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Memorial tomorrow. So, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the former President Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam's memorial at Pei Kurumbu, Rameswaram tomorrow at 27th of July 2017 at 11:30 am. The Prime Minister will hoist the national flag at the memorial, designed and built by DRDO. The memorial, has constructed by DRDO, is exactly 1 year. Architecturally, it has been inspiration from several national landmarks. The front entrance book looks similar to the India Gate, while the two domes are on the lines of the Rashtrapati Bhavan. So please read this section yourself. So let's move on the next news. Fast Breeder Reactor. So let us discuss about the Fast Breeder Reactors and its function. So Indira Gandhi Centre for Atomic Research (IGCAR) has been carrying out a comprehensive research and development on sodium cooled fast breeder reactor technology for the past 30 years. A test reactor called Fast Breeder Test Reactor (FBTR) is in operation from 1985 onwards, which provide valuable feedback. Currently, all the component and equipment, especially the oversized heavy component, have been successfully manufactured by Indian industry and erected in PFBR project. By the following the above approach, India has mastered the design and manufacturing of sodium-cooled fast breeder reactor (FBR). So let's move on the next. Indigenously produced mixed uranium and plutonium oxide will be used as the fuel of the prototype fast breeder reactor at the Kalpakkam. The indigenously designed industrial-scale prototype FBR of 500 megawatt capacity is an advanced stage of commissioning at the Kalpakkam. Consenting process by Atomic Energy Regulatory Board (AERB) for the commissioning of PFBR in begun currently with the ongoing commission activities. It is scheduled to go critical in 2017. So FBR currently in operation in Russia. One FBR of 600 megawatt capacity called BN600 has been in operation since 1980. Recently, Russia has commenced operation of BN 800 megawatt capacity. China has started a test reactor of 65 megawatt capacity in 2010. Other two reactors, Joyo and Monju, in Japan are under shutdown currently. So let's move on the next news. Food and seed irradiation. So let us talk about research and development. The use of radiation in agriculture has resulted in developing improved varieties of seeds, resulting in increase in the GDP of the country. Bhabha Atomic Research Center is actively working in this area. Using radiation-induced mutagenesis along with the crossbreeding, BARC has developed several varieties of oilseeds, pulses, rice and jute, which have been released and notified for the commercial cultivation across the country. The major desirable traits in these crops include higher yield, seed size, improved ergonomic and quality traits, early maturity, and resistant to biotic and abiotic stresses. Several of these varieties enjoy high patronage among the farming community and extensively cultivated in the country, contribute substantially to the total agricultural production in the country. Bark is also involved in the breeder's seed multiplication of its release variety in case of crops such as groundnuts and pulses. So according to IMF, GDP is a monetary measure of the market value of all final goods and services produced in the period, quarterly or yearly. Viewed in this context, the improved variety of crop have been substantially contributed to the GDP of the country. Using mutation and conventional breeding, Department of Atomic Energy (DAE) has developed 42 new varieties of crops. These varieties include oilseed, groundnut, mustard, soybean, sunflower, pulses, urdbean, mungbean, pigeonpea, cowpea, rice and jute. So let us talk about details about mutation. Mutation breeding through nuclear radiation is mostly done using gamma rays or the other ionizing radiation such as electron beam. The method does not render the irradiated material radioactive. It also does not involve insertion of foreign gene into the plant being improved. Irradiation only increases the rate of mutation inside target cell. Mutation is natural process and therefore acceleration of the process using a radiation source is widely accepted method of the producing variability of the population. Plants showing favorable traits are selected and cultivated, ultimately culminating in the production of new varieties. The plants are also extensively tested for various parameters, including nutritional quality of food, before they are released. Therefore, there is no health hazard to human and animals that consume the food. So let's move on the next news. Achievement in space sector. So let us briefly talk about the ISRO. During the last 3 years, from June 2014 to June 2017, Indian Space Research Organization has successfully accomplished 41 missions, which include 19 launch vehicle missions, 19 satellite missions, and 3 technology demonstrator missions. Some of the notable achievement includes that is operationalization of GSLV-MKII, which homegrown cryogenic upper stage CUS with indigenous capability of launching 2-ton class satellite. ISRO has successfully launched a first development flight of GSLV Mark III, which validated new version of indigenous cryogenic engine. With this capability, it will be possible to launch up to 4 tons class of communication satellite into geosynchronous transfer orbit, that is GTO. So, launch of 14 flights of PSLV, which include launch of 104 satellite in a single PSLV, that is PSLV C-37 mission, maximum satellite launch in a single launch missile till date. Realization of South Asia satellite to enable South Asian countries to establish SATCOM based on services such as television, DTH, VSAT, e-governance, banking, telemedicine, and tele-education, etc., with the coverage over South Asia. The next one is realization of 7 satellite, that is NAVIC, Navigation Indian Constellation, to provide position, navigation, and timing services, with 5 satellites launched during the last 3 years. The next one is augmentation of satellite communication capability with 7 more satellites, that is GSAT 6, 9, 15, 16, 17, as well as 18 and 19. So let's move on the next. The sixth one is successful technology demonstration mission, that is Crew Model Atmospheric Re-entry Experiment (CARE), reusable launch vehicle (RLDTD), and a scramjet air breathing engine. The seventh one is InSat 3D and 3D together are providing meteorological data every 15 minutes for enabling weather forecasting. Ocean surface wind vector data from the SCAT-SAT-1 are being used operationally by global user community. The next one is the augmentation of Earth observation capability with 4 satellites, that is 3 high-resolution cartographic and 1 resource monitoring satellite. The next one is the placing a unique multi-wavelength observatory astrosat in the orbit, carrying instrument realized through Indian Academic Institute to enhance understanding of universe and astronomical phenomena. So let's move on the next. The next important, the Mars orbiter mission completed 1000 days in the orbit. Earlier, Mars orbiter spacecraft was successfully placed in Martian orbit on September 24. So we have to know about the Martian and what is Martian orbit, making India the first country to do so in the first attempt. The next one is enabling host of application using synergy of Earth observation, communication, and navigation satellite in the governance and development. India has created a niche in the field of space science and technology, that is launch services, Earth observation, communication and navigation, and application of space technology for national development. Today, India stands one among the top 6 spacefaring nations in the world. So let's move on the next news. Alert system as unmanned level crossing. So ISRO has demonstrated a satellite-based resolution solution for unmanned level crossing (UMLCs) using navigation and communication technology to avoid accidents. By automatic triggering, the system provides alert by blowing hooters in the locomotive as well as audio-visual warning at the level crossing about the approaching train. The concept has been successfully demonstrated and the field trials with the railway are in progress. Indian Railway is expected to implement operational system after the completion of field trials. So let's move on the next news. Projects from Assam. All states were requested to send the priority list during the year 2016 to 17 of the estimated expenditure 3 times the normative allocation. The state government of Assam has given 15 project costing of 580 crores, out of which 13 project costing of 569 crores have been retained. Priority list for the current financial year has been obtained from any state. A total of 203 projects under NLCPR are at the different stage of implementation. So let's move on the next. Codex Alimentarius Commission meeting in Geneva adopt 3 codex in the standard for the spices. In a major recognition of India's effort to benchmark global spices trade, the Codex Alimentarius Commission (CAC) has adopted 3 codex in the standard for black, white, and green pepper, cumin, and thyme, paving the way for universal agreement on identifying quality spices in various countries. The member country of CAC, the International Food Standard Setting Body, which met in Geneva for 14th session during July 1722, unanimously approved the adoption of Codex standard for the 3 spices, which would facilitate evolving a common standardization process for their global trade and availability. So let's move on the next. The Codex standard were adopted in the wake of India conducting 3 sessions of Codex Committee on Spices and Culinary Herbs (CCSCH) at Kochi to 2014, Goa in 2015, and Chennai in 2017. The Chennai session succeeded in achieving this consensus. Subsequently, these drafts were placed before the CAC and it was adopted by consensus with an overwhelming support from the member countries. With the adoption of Codex standard on pepper, cumin, and thyme, spices have been included for the first time as a commodities that will have such universal standard. So let's move on the next news. Steps to increase export of marine food products. The government through Marine Products Export Development Authority, that is MPED, is extending technical and financial assistance in the capture fisheries sector to develop the infrastructure facilities for the fishing, processing, value addition, and export of seafood products. MPED is also supporting the aquaculture sector to increase the production of export-oriented aquaculture through various technical and financial assistance scheme, research and development and extension activities. So let's move on the next news. Investment agreement with foreign countries. The existing Indian bilateral investment treaty were largely negotiated on the basis of Model BIT text adopted in 1993 and as amended in 2003. The 1993 Model BIT text contained provisions which were susceptible to broad ambiguous interpretation by arbitral tribunal. Further significant changes have occurred globally regarding BITs in general and investor-state dispute resolution mechanism in particular. Accordingly, India started the process for review and revision of the earlier Model BIT and came out with the revised Model BIT version in December 2015. Discussion on commencing negotiation on bilateral investment treaty or investment agreement based on approach Model BIT text with Russia, USA, and EU are ongoing. So let's move on to the next news. Credit Guarantee Fund for Startups. So government is formulating a credit guarantee scheme for startups, CGSS, which a corpus contribution of near about 2000 crore that will enable a startup to raise loans without any collateral for their business purposes. The proposed scheme will provide credit guarantee up to 500 lakh per case inclusive of term loan, working capital or any other instrument of assistance extended by member of lending institution MLI to the finance and eligible borrowers. A startup recognized by Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion DIPP. So let's continue. The main norms and precondition of the CGSS are as followed. Scheme will provide benefit to a startup recognized by DIPP as per gazetted notification issued from time to time. For all resident director partner, Aadhaar shall be mandatory, and for non-resident directors partners, the passport number shall be mandatory for the KYC norms. The next one is member lending institution MLI under the scheme can be scheduled commercial bank and financial institution, RBI registered, non-banking financial companies, SEBI registered, AIFC, etc. The scheme will function under the trusteeship management of the National Credit Guarantee Trustee Company, that is NCGTC. The scheme shall provide portfolio-based credit guarantee. Each portfolio shall comprise at least 10 eligible startup loans during a particular financial year. So let us discuss about the next news. Funds disbursed to the industrial corridor. So you have to know about the what are the industrial corridor and how many types of industrial corridor in India. So there are 5 types of industrial corridor, that is Delhi Mumbai industrial corridor, that is TMIC, Chennai Bangalore industrial corridor, Bangalore Mumbai industrial corridor, BMIC, Amritsar Kolkata industrial corridor, as well as Vizag Chennai industrial corridor. So let's move on the next news. Digitization of impression of encryption on paper. Archaeological Survey of India (ASI) has plans to digitize all impression in this systematic way. As a prelude to this, a step had been taken to amend all impression for the safety and legibility of each letter on them. On process of mending of all the impression is completed, action will be initiated to digitize all impression and preserve them in a better manner for posterity. So let's move on the next news. Amendment of the AMSAR Act 2010. The proposal for amendment of the AMSAR Act 2010 has been approved by the Cabinet and pertaining bill has been moved to the Lok Sabha. The proposal is to allow public works or projects essential for public in prohibited area within 100 meters from the protected monument, but not having substantial impact on preservation, safety, security, or access to the monument or its immediate surrounding, including visual ambience. The proposal is aimed to harmonize the existing conflict between provision of subsection 3 and subsection 4 of the section 20A of the Act. So let us discuss about the next news. Inauguration of the SUN workshop by the COAs. The 5th workshop on medical management of SUN casualty for medical officers is being held under the aegis of Headquarters Integrated Defence Staff IDS Medical from 25th of July 2017 to 28th of July 2017. General Bipin Rawat, Chief of Army Staff, was the chief guest at the inaugural session. So let's move on the next news. Establishment of air freight corridor. The establishment of an air freight corridor between India and Afghanistan was discussed during the visit of President Ghani of Afghanistan to India in September and December 2016. The first cargo flight from Kabul to Delhi establishing air freight corridor was received on 19 June 2017 by the External Affairs Minister in the presence of Civil Aviation Minister and Minister of State for External Affairs and the Ambassador of Islamic Republic of Afghanistan to India. Subsequently, cargo flight from Kandahar to Delhi arrived on June 24, 2017. So let's move on the next news. Closure of Mahatma Gandhi Pravasi Suraksha Yojana. So let us discuss about the Yojana. So Mahatma Gandhi Pravasi Suraksha Yojana did not get an encouraging response from the Indian immigrants workers. So it is for Indian immigrants workers. Variety of reasons including its voluntary nature, difficulty in payment of subscription from NRI account, limited insurance cover, and restricted regulatory environment in the destination country where the scheme was able to be rolled out. The scheme stands close with approval of the cabinet with effect from April 1st, 2017. So thank you so much. Have a nice day.